Good morning.
We are Blue Anchor Marketing of Texas.
Also known as BAMoT. We are a grassroots branding and marketing agency that has spent every day of the last year honing our marketing skills. Now we want to share what we've learned with y'all while just being ourselves. So our podcast is hosted on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network.com, along with some amazing other podcasts. So give them some love. Check them out. The show wouldn't be possible without them.
Well, we offer done-for-you marketing, including automation that has seriously unlocked a lot of potential for not a lot of money, as well as done-with-you marketing for those that are more hands-on and could use some guidance. We offer one-on-one consulting as well as group coaching through our Small Business Boost Up class. We have a special guest who owns a small business in the Hill Country. Wait, take that back. That was our guest for next
that was my
this
bad.
Friday.
Wrong intro.
Wrong intro. That's okay.
Our special guest is from the Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce.
Brad, right there, give us a wave.
Hello. Well, check us out at blueanchormarketingoftexas.com, where you'll find information about our services and how to contact us.
Awesome. Yes, very good. So welcome to the show, Brad. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you.
So yesterday was World Mental Health Day, and Pinterest seems to be taking some steps to encourage mental health with its content creators. They have announced a new global partnership with Headspace. Have you heard of Headspace, the app? There is an app that's a positive headspace and guided meditation platform for positive mindfulness. I used to subscribe to Headspace, I think back in like 2015, and I really enjoyed it. It was awesome. Like just the dude's voice is amazing. I think they probably have like a lot more people on there now. This is very soothing. But yeah, so the article that I read yesterday stated that the Headspace is adding additional stress relief and management tools that will be available to users in the app. As explained by Pinterest, in quotes, the new partnership will invite hundreds of thousands of eligible creators to receive a free 6-month subscription to Headspace across 20 countries around the world, from Brazil to Germany to US to Japan. Pinterest is the first and only tech platform to provide such an offering.
Well, last year, the New York Times published a report on the rising number of creators that are experiencing burnout as they work to keep posting fresh updates every day.
Yeah.
In order to meet the new, never-ending demands of online audiences.
Right, yeah.
You don't make money unless you're making content. So if this is your main gig, I could see how pushing yourself too hard can be super easy.
Right. So with this issue becoming more and more prevalent, Pinterest is taking the first steps to really help mitigate and encourage a healthy mind, healthy lifestyle with, on a macro level, I think makes a lot of sense. Pinterest relies on content creators to keep a flow of fresh content, so users keep coming back and generating revenue for the platform. So if the people you're relying on are burning themselves out, you can either try to take care of them and keep your wheels turning, or ignore them and lose your platform. So I'm glad they're going that route.
Absolutely.
So per the New York Times, it said burnout has affected generations of social media creators. In 2017, Instagram influencers began leaving the platform, saying they are feeling depressed and discouraged. That same year, many large YouTube creators began stepping away from the platform, citing mental health issues with that as well.
Pinterest has been encouraging positive mental health for their creators for a while now, having added a mental health support tools since 2019.
Right.
Like access to well-being exercises and self-help,
Yeah.
things like that.
And I'm glad that this is becoming more and more accepted, especially with the backing of science. It really gives me hope for a non-dystopian future, So yeah, we'll get more on that here in a little bit, but we're stuck with Brad for a moment. Brad, so happy to have you with us. How long have you been with the Chamber of Commerce?
Kerrville. Got to Kerrville in January of 2021, so almost 2 years now.
Very good.
Nice.
Yeah. So what brought you to Kerrville?
Needed better scenery than Midland.
There you go. That's fair.
No, I'd been in Midland for 15 years, and it was overseeing construction of the Barbara and George H.W. Bush Convention Center.
Okay.
Figure if you're going to build a building that big, it needed to have a name the size of the building.
Right.
So after you've been through a construction project like that, it's usually time for a change. And I worked at the Midland Chamber for 9 years at that point.
Okay.
But having grown up in Eastern Kentucky, Western West Virginia, Midland's a little flat, no trees, no water. So when the opportunity came up to run the chamber here in Kerrville, we jumped at it. And,
absolutely
glad to be here.
That's great. Very nice. Well, we are working together with y'all on the Lunch and Learn. So this is very exciting. We are very happy to be involved, and just want to know, like, y'all did. This isn't a new thing. It's just something that y'all are bringing back. In your experience, have you had experience with other Lunch and Learns? Is it something that you've kind of dived into before?
Yeah, we've done it before at other chambers.
Yeah.
I've seen it done different ways.
Okay.
COVID kind of killed everything for
Right.
everybody.
Yeah, literally.
So when I got here, we had tried to do some coffee talks, which is a breakfast
Mhm.
event. Didn't have a lot of success, or we were having good content, but 2 or 3 people would be all that showed up.
Oh, okay.
So
Right.
when we decided to relaunch the Lunch and Learn, we really are taking a different approach.
Okay.
We wanted to make sure that you can join us live, you can join us via Zoom, but we're also building a digital content learning library. For
Right.
members.
Right.
So if you're not able to be with us this Thursday, either live or via Zoom, you'll be able to reach out and get a link, and if you're a member of the chamber, and get access to that content.
That's huge. That's great. So we will be teaching how to optimize your Google business profile Thursday, this go around. And I tell you, I hope we can do it justice. Knowing how these things move, I'm hoping Google can kind of keep it together for a few days without making some more major changes to the platform, just so we can be giving the most up-to-date information as possible. Because I mean, I jumped on this the other day on Facebook, and yeah, another couple things have changed. It's like,
All the time.
keep up.
Constant.
So tell in your experience, and I'll help you out. Why? What should people come by and learn about how to optimize their Google business profile at the chamber?
Well, and like you said, this is an ongoing changing environment.
Mhm.
Having a video production background, knowing that, excuse me, the technology changes every day, every minute. So kind of getting out there and staying on top of it. And especially as we get close to the holiday season,
Mhm.
that is huge for most businesses.
Big time.
So
Oh yeah,
get out and make sure you're ahead of the curve on this.
very good. Yep. So the chamber does offer amazing resources for business owners. Can you give our audience a few perks of why they should join?
20 years ago, you joined the chamber because you opened a business and it was the right thing to do.
Right.
We always tell people that we look at it as a return on investment. If people don't know, Chamber of Commerce is a 501c6 member business organization.
Mhm.
Our funding comes through membership dues, investment in the work we do, and our events
Right.
we put on. We get no money from the city, the county, the state, none of that.
Right,
So,
right.
Which, again, there's that misperception that I've been at chambers where they call up and go, hey, we need a ribbon cutting. I'd be happy to do one as soon as you join the chamber.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
gotta
pay my taxes.
That's not
Well,
really
that's good, but that's not us.
Right. Right.
And we have roughly a little over 40% of the businesses in this area that are members.
Oh, wow.
810 members as of last week.
Nice.
So if you're above 20 to 25%, 25 to 35%, you're considered successful.
Oh, wow.
But obviously, we would like more because
Mhm.
we have so many businesses in a small area.
Yeah.
And that's been one of the things I've loved about Kerrville. For a community our size, there are so many things to do, amenities, even things that we've got here that we didn't have in Midland. And Midland's 4.5, 5 times the size of Kerrville.
Oh,
So
yeah.
just get out there and enjoy it because there's stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, especially this month, seeing a big uptick on
Oh, yeah.
amazing things. And we'll, yeah, definitely be hitting that more. I know that joining the chamber was one of the first things we did for our business. The program we were going through early on, it was one of the biggest things that they were saying, join your chamber. And I tell you, it was definitely worth investing and getting in as early as we did. As a side note, as kind of like the marketing back end side of things, having a membership with your local chamber of commerce is a very strong link for your business's website. So without going into my nerd talk and taking up an hour of the show, having your business website registered with your chamber of commerce creates a lot of trust with search engines, helping your SEO out a lot. So it's search engine optimization. When Google sees that, chamber is a very trusted hub of directories basically for businesses. That link is very, very good. So the more valuable registrations you have, the higher you're going to be ranked in searches. There's a lot more behind SEO, but that's another discussion for another day. And like I said, it's about hours worth of information. So yeah, but our experience with the chamber has been 1,000% positive. And you also have the young professionals group which I think is huge. I can't speak enough about how important just that one group is alone, especially in the small town like ours, kind of getting everybody together and just getting young professionals a place to meet and see that there is, we are out here. We are trying to bring up businesses and make a good change for that. So is that a Kerrville original thing, or is this something that like other chambers have done with the young professionals group?
No, most chambers have a young professionals program.
Okay.
Some chambers have started one and then it kind of spun off, became its own thing.
Okay.
KAC Young Professionals is still under the chamber. They're one of our programs. But that's one of the big things about being a part of a chamber. You mentioned the credibility it gives you, especially even in the digital world, but also the networking. And I know you guys are taking advantage of that. I think I see you guys at most of our mixers,
Right.
And we do monthly mixers for the chamber, but then also the YP group. I know you all been involved in that.
Right.
So I think in Kerrville, we got a community that skews older.
Right.
30% of the population's over 65.
Mhm.
I'm not quite there yet, but getting there. But really, there's a churn of young people that they don't stay a long time. So it's getting that YP group going and getting leadership in place. That if one or two of people that are on the steering committee overseeing that program leave, we've got others ready to kind of slip in and take a leadership role.
Right. That's great. So from email blasts to ribbon cuttings and mixers, y'all offer so much for being a member. Y'all have even opened you have a gorgeous conference room. So you have that open to members. And but what are some other ways people can support the chamber? You can join and come in through, but y'all take any other kind of ways of sponsorships and stuff like that? What's the ways that the community can get involved?
There's lots of ways. And if you're doing a sponsorship, you're actually promoting your business. So we've got our Centennial Awards Banquet because we're 100 years old. We've been serving the area for 100 years.
Very nice.
Started in 1922, so I did the math there. But for our awards banquet, our title sponsor is Happy State Bank.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
for all of our events, we do a title sponsor. But we have a lot of businesses that are smaller. They wanted to be able to do sponsorship, so we do at our events like a lunch or a dinner sponsor.
Right.
We've got bar sponsors. So 2 of the 3 bars, we already have bar sponsors for
Very
the event
nice.
on the 20th.
There you go.
So just ways to people to get their name out there.
Right.
We've offered technology sponsorship, stuff like that.
Very good.
So just ways to promote your business. And I know used to, and I've kind of gotten a little flack on this, but the chamber used to do 4 major events. Now we're doing 4 signature events, and then we do 3 luncheons.
Okay.
Not the lunch and learns, but like a state of the city, state of it, healthcare we just did, and the state of education. Used to, if you sponsored one event, then you got a free table at the other 3 events.
Oh, cool.
Well, when we expanded the number of events we're doing, we obviously are losing money if you say you get a free table at 7 events. So what we do now is if you sponsor your title sponsor at one event, you get a 25% discount at all the other events. So,
that's great.
Still giving.
Still a good deal. Very good deal.
Yeah, especially, and we've kept, because part of it is we've got a strategic plan. We want to help grow businesses. So we do need to make money on the events, but we're not charging $5,000 a table. I mean, some of the banquets are doing fundraisers, and they're 501c3, a lot of those, so they're more the heartstring organizations. But we try to keep our ticket prices, like our awards banquet's the highest priced single ticket, it's $100, and that covers your meal. A lot of others have been at $60, so we want to make a little money, but getting the content out there is really important.
That's a good key point there, is getting the content out there, getting people to understand what the chamber really is here for and why people should join. Going through our classes, and anybody we talk to, we tell them, join the chamber. Like it's simple, it's easy, and every time you walk in the building, you get treated so nicely. We walk in, we grew up with Pilar over there, and Lauren has helped us out a lot. She's actually watched most of our shows, and we have felt a lot of great support from the chamber just by simply showing up and getting involved. And it's amazing. We don't want to miss out on it. Got to get out there. Johnny, you have anything to add?
course I do.
I think
Um,
you love the chamber too.
The chamber is, I mean, the Kerrville Chamber of Commerce is like the glue of Kerrville.
Yeah.
You really like you're having an opportunity to go meet with Schreiner University, meet with Cecil Atkins, meet with all these different mixers to where you never know what kind of connection that you might have until you show up and you get there.
Right.
And that's kind of one thing for us when we went to our first mixer was at Cecil Atkins, and we met David over at the Schreiner University at that mixer, and that just opened up a whole new door for us. So
huge. Yeah, that was serendipity defined.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, that's the one thing I see as the chamber is a great way to, like Brad was saying, is to network. And having the Kerrville Young Professionals, it's really cool because most of the mixers, it's like our group is there, so we're always there to support the chamber at those mixers. And it's nice to have a group of people that you can just hang out with and introduce to new people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that with the young professionals group is so important. Like I was saying, to areas like this, because it is hard to kind of get out and meet other people in your age group because we're always busy running around. Maybe run into each other at HEB, but you don't really know who we are. But getting to these mixers for the chamber and the young professionals, you're really seeing the faces, meeting the people, shaking the hands. Every time I go out there, it's always quality conversations with other business owners and really getting tied into what's going on in the community. And I think it's great. Yeah.
I love what you guys have for the YP. When I say you guys, I always say I'm an OP, old professional.
There you go.
So I'm gonna get a shirt with that on it.
OPP.
But that you guys will get everybody that's there from YP together and do a picture at the main chamber mixer. So I really like that kind of camaraderie that you guys have developed. So
it's a great team. Yeah. Very good. All right. Well, I would like to kind of switch gears a little bit more, if you're okay with that. And I kind of want to hit back on expanding on the importance of mental health for a bit. So we're talking about chamber and we're talking about mental health. And I think I could maybe find a way to tie the two in. But honestly, it's a sense of community. And to me, that's a big nurture for mental health. Find your people, get out there. Chamber definitely nurtures that. And that's huge. So, yeah, for mental health, especially if you're an entrepreneur, take care of yourself. I'm kind of thinking about like the story we're just talking about with content creators getting burnout. The first time I read that, I kind of like scoffed. I was like, they're content creators. Like you're just filming yourself doing things. And I started thinking about like, no, wait a minute, because think about being a full-time content creator. I think up front, it sounds like a dream, right? It sounds like as long as you're making the content that you love, it's something that you are really enjoying. But that quickly does just become another job. And now you don't have someone to manage your schedule for you like you did when you were an employee. So left to our own devices, we're going to try to squeeze every bit of our day out, trying to keep feeding the machine, right? So sure, it seems like on the surface, they're really enjoying themselves. But, like you said, there's nobody scheduling them. So if you are turning money out of content that you're making, you're going to try to turn out as much as you can, and you're going to really burn yourself out. But yeah, so let's say what you've loved doing is now a freaking freight train that's consuming your life and taking time away from other important things. That's kind of like the analogy I was thinking about of it. It's just like it's on a track, it's loose, there's no stopping it. So now you probably no longer love that thing because now it's out of hand. And I know I've experienced this plenty of times. I mean, have you all ever squeezed something to death before that you love? Is it something that like kind of gets out of hand? Yeah. Well, I think Pinterest could have just as easily brewed up some scheme to push content creators harder so that they can increase their own profits. And I know like something like with a very enticing incentive program, it's basically to just milk the cow to death, so to speak. But we've definitely seen plenty of corporations do that over the years. That's why I like seeing this big change that mental health is becoming in the foreground. So it's definitely a major factor in productivity. You're going to get better work from people who aren't being taken advantage of and being pushed too hard, right? So one of our episodes last week was literally about this, about allowing to have fun in the workplace. You're going to have astronomically better retention rates, better job satisfaction, employees that are way more committed to seeing the continued success of your business because they're enjoying what they're doing and you're not, pushing them too hard. So content creators need guidance just as much as business owners do. We literally jumped into a commitment that has no end of day time. There's no 5 o'clock, I'm out, see you guys tomorrow, especially when you're still pretty new business. So your day is free to do what you want and need, but you want and need your business to succeed. So you're going to keep pushing yourself, and you're going to push yourself too far. Then you're going to get burned out, and your business is going to fail anyway. So don't let that happen. Find a coach that speaks your language and allow yourself to have a set schedule with intentional time off as often as you feasibly can. There will always be times when sacrifices must be made for the greater good, but it shouldn't be a constant ordeal. It should be balanced. I was listening to a podcast over the weekend talking about how important it is to slow down.
Mhm.
It sounds counterintuitive, but it's to mitigate burnout. Yo.
Slowing down also gives you an opportunity to really hone in on your goals
Oh, yeah.
and make an action plan that allows you to work smarter, and that helps you to avoid unnecessary pitfalls, as well as cementing the habits that will help you attain those goals faster.
Mhm.
So taking time to be mindful and make a plan that's in alignment with your goals
Mhm.
significantly decreases wasted time while improving productivity. And it just feels good.
It just feels good. Yeah. It's the micro tasks kind of thing.
Yeah.
Your goals should be building blocks to what really matters, which is to have a good life. A good life, okay? Not a busy one where work is the only focus. And it's got to be a life that you enjoy. Making millions of dollars sounds amazing, but if you're plugging away 80 to 90 hours every week to reach that level, what's the point? Seriously, I'm sure I'll get a lot of pushback on this, but I'm a firm believer that life's true meaning is to live.
Mhm. Hey, you won't get any pushback from me. True wealth in life comes from the depth of your relationships and sharing great experiences.
Right.
Money is just a tool that helps you achieve those things.
Yeah. We got to have money. So you got to find, like, again, it's always about the balance. You got to have the
Yeah.
money, but you got to figure out a way to enjoy yourself. But hey, if your work is what you truly love and you get fulfillment out of busting butt 24/7, all the power to you. Just make sure you're actually taking care of yourself and not fulfilling some broken, toxic habit that was ingrained in you early on. It's you just gotta live.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything that anybody wants to add on that?
I just think I've had employers that said, we've got to have a work-life balance and would preach that, but then in reality, sometimes they don't follow through on it.
Mhm.
And I think if you're a business owner, and again, goes for if you are the business,
Right.
you need to really, like you say, set those boundaries
Mhm.
because it's real easy to get burned out.
Right.
And especially if you're a content creator, that's what you're passionate about. That's kind of the worst thing because then you're burned out. And you've got to
Mhm.
figure out, okay, what do I do? Where do I go from here?
Right.
But I think that's right now, and it's hard to find employees. So I think
Mhm.
finally business owners are starting to realize, issues like mental health,
Right.
that work-life balance is something that they need to focus on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think in the past it was, well, if you don't want the job, somebody else will take it.
Right.
And now with the great resignation or whatever we're calling that this week,
Mhm.
we need to focus on that resource as much or probably more so than our brick and mortar
Right.
Mm.
building and resources.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think it's not that people are being lazy. It's that people are having more focus on things that matter. They're different things that matter than for me, if I were trying to get out into the workforce, one major thing would be that I'm looking at the business as much as they're looking at me, and I want to know, like, am I going to be taken care of? Am I just a seasonal churn of the wheel, or is this something that I can truly dedicate myself to and commit myself and feel safe in that job? Back in, do we have time for story time? We have a few minutes. I jumped into a job, and it was kind of like my dream job back then. I'd been freelancing for so long, and finally got a full-time gig at a sign shop. And it started out, I actually kind of gave an example the other day about it, where we like always have Nerf gun fights and stuff. It started out great. Like, it was a great team, great business. It was a lot of fun, but things quickly took a turn. And I think because finances became tight, I think some things kind of went out of control, and the environment completely changed. and I was ultimately let go for a mistake that wasn't even mine, and I was just kind of thrown under the bus for it. Uh, and it really rattled me. I felt like I finally had a good strong foundation under me, and then all of a sudden that was just swiped under my feet, and I was just lost. And it was hard to bounce back from that. It was I don't know how to say this the right way, but it shook my trust in people really bad, and it took a lot to recover from that. So if you're a business owner, like think about that when yeah, I mean, I know it was a tough decision for them to let me go. It is kind of a weird thing, and maybe it was the universe kind of guiding me on a path, because after that I ended up going to EMS, which was great. But think about the more than just the numbers. Like we were saying the other episode, is there's more than just numbers to your employees or people. And the more you take care of them, the more you make them feel safe, and the more they feel taken care of, you're going to have a way better successful business, right? Is it end ramble time? All right. Anything else anybody wants to add to that? We still got a few minutes. We're doing good on time.
Well, and I think the other thing from a management standpoint too is, and I think some employers get it, some don't, is if you've got 5 employees, it's sort of like having 5 kids. What motivates employee number 1 may not work on employee number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
And getting to know them and what's going on in their lives, because again, when I think my son's 22 now, but when he was little, we finally would find something that would work for discipline, and 2 weeks later, it didn't work anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And that got frustrating. But I think there's that analogy for your employees. What works to motivate you today may not work in 6 months.
True. Very true.
Or 6 hours.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
again, we've got a constant changing environment. So
Yeah.
I would just encourage people to really be cognizant of, and you mentioned this earlier, relationships. It is
Absolutely.
not that you're going to be friends necessarily with your employees, but you need to know who they are and what motivates them.
Right. Yeah. Have that appropriate communication,
Yes.
open line of communication. That's a very good point, is don't be friends. That's a mistake that I made early on as a lead, like trying to fill a leadership role. I was like, I'm going to be the friend. And it ended up, it was just not the good move. It was not the right move. Yeah, like I was saying a couple episodes ago, of having a structure. You as a business owner, you're the top dog, and now you have somebody you need that's a leader, and the leader is the one that is kind of the adaptable friend in a way. They're able to get respect and give respect. So as an owner, you're able to communicate your needs and expectations, and in turn, the leader can communicate the expectations of the workforce to you. So yeah, I mean, having that structure is very important, and just keeping open communication. It's not hard. It takes a little bit of effort, but it's worth taking the time on it rather than putting out fires when they come up. Yeah. Like that. All right. Well, we have a comment. Let's make sure that anybody got a question. Hi, it's Hill
Hi,
Country
thank you.
MHDD. So they say, thank you for the emphasis on mental health. Hill Country MHDD offers a mental health first aid program, which is free to residents of the state of Texas. This is useful for business owners, employees, volunteers, students, teachers, most everyone. To learn more, please visit their site, www.mentalhealthfirstaid.org. To schedule a class, please email either aanderson@hillcountry.org or Catherine6787@hillcountry.org. That's another great nonprofit organization. Speaking of 501cs, they provide a lot for mental health. And so, yeah, it'll get me on another rant of like the nonprofits here, but no, this is great. Thank you for shouting out. And
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, they're a great resource. Yeah, a lot of great things going on in the community. I love seeing it. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll call it there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be live Friday morning, same place, same times. We have some great things planned for this week as we ramp up for the Small Business Boost Up program that's being launched on the 27th. There's still a couple of seats left for the first 10 seats. So if you want to get in at the half price, now is the time to jump in. Don't sit on it. We're like literally, I think 1 or 2 seats are left at that point. And then after that, it goes to $500 because it's our normal price that we need to charge for that. So come and see us in person on Thursday at 12 o'clock at our amazing Chamber of Commerce and bring a sack lunch. So there won't be lunch involved in this one because we don't have the funds to personally fund that, and we couldn't get any sponsors this time. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to work on that more later.
If you want to bring lunch for us too.
Oh yeah, bring some.
Yeah, sure.
Bring some for the rest. All right, that's it for us, folks. Have a great rest of your day.
And
Giant
remember, you are enough.
Bye. I'll play the outro.
Yeah.
Careful for your ears. Remember, it's loud. Okay, bye.
A rich man's world. I have turned the soul of this beautiful land, but that